Flemeth once told me that temptation lies in the forbidden. Do not follow me, I said, and slipped into the shadows. Some doors should never be reopened.
Hi everyone, it's Django at Game-Bank here. Just going to do a review of Witch Hunt, the new Dragon Age Origins DLC. The DLC itself, should I say, takes place about a year after the original game finishes, after you kill the Archdemon. And as you can see, there's a return to some familiar places. Some of them are Flemeth's Hut, as you can see here, the Circle Tower, the Elven Ruins. If you've been and done Shale's side quest, there's also a return to Kardash Thag, although you do it in reverse, which I suppose is their effort to make the environment look different and new, although it's not. And return to the Dragonbone Wastes as well. Basically, the gist of the game is to try and find out what happened to Morrigan, because, you know, depending on how you played out that storyline, really kind of depends how she ended up, you know, what course she took. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone that's not got to that point yet, but anyway, this is about that. But you have to kind of, you know, go around a few places. As you can see, the map here is about to go off towards the Circle Tower, which a lot of these environments, as you might expect, are unchanged. They're using previous models, or in reverse, or very subtle modifications of them, which, to be honest, is a little disappointing. But then again, you know, if it means they've got more development time for Dragon Age 2, then does it matter? Although, then again, this costs money. So anyway, so you go into the tower, and there's Ariane there, who's one of your early party members. She's a dual wield warrior. You also get a dog, which is quite handy sometimes. And there are landmarks that you can get your dog to go and piss up against, which is great. You also get another guy who you'll see in a little while called Finn, who's a mage, and he gets 2 specialisation points when you first get him, so that's cool. He starts off as a spirit healer, but you can also, you know, spec him to be battle mage or keeper, or, you know, whatever else you want to do with him, and you get some talent points you can play around with. There's a vendor that you can use here to stock up. It's worth spending a little bit of time checking out the rooms and listening to some of the conversations around here. There's some useful potions and stuff like that that perhaps you haven't got. The character I'm using at the moment is a character I've imported into the DLC, but as with other previous DLCs, you can create a new one as well if you want to try out a different class or whatever. But this is my female warrior, tank and sword, shield and sword warrior. There's a little friend there, Sandal, if you remember him from Origins, and so you can expect that he'll be doing some enchantment if you need to. Little talk about combat now. The combat in the game is pretty much basic. I'm playing here on normal, I think, or hard. I'm going to go through again on Nightmare, simply because there's an additional achievement that you can get. There's 4, I think, achievements in total, and there are 4 items that this DLC unlocks. So when you start new characters, you can get some boosted weapons and stuff. The achievements and those weapons that you can unlock are all on the website, on Game-Bank.info, which I'll put a link to as well, and they're not bad. Here we are now. We're actually in the kind of maybe halfway through, and I should say that As I said about the combat, it's not too taxing, but I was a little disappointed at some of the mobs that you got to fight. There are one or two exceptions to this, but the puzzles are nowhere near as hard as the Golem's DLC. They're pretty straightforward. I would suggest and say that this is really a lore based DLC, not massive leaps forward in gameplay. The story's alright, I suppose, but it could be a little bit more. I found that they could have done a little bit more, as it's meant to be a lore based DLC. You know, what happened with Morrigan and blah blah blah, and one or two questions that I would have liked a little bit more depth to. But you know, $7, £4.33, is it really going to be that in depth? Probably not, but maybe it should be. This is one of the kind of ultimate bosses. I'm not going to explain who it is or why, but it's quite a cool fight. I'm looking forward to doing this one on Nightmare. What did I think overall? Well, I have to be honest, it felt it finished early. This one was maybe an hour's worth of gameplay. Now bearing in mind the other ones, it's a bit disappointing. Anyway, my scores are coming up at the end, so you can see what I thought. Thanks all.
I think she's expecting you.
You know it's time for us to step it up another level now.